Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jere B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Hey, we're here to engage, encourage, and empower all EntreMusicians everywhere. I'm so grateful for all of you who've stopped by the YouTube channel, who visited us at the EntreMusician, who've downloaded the free ebook, 50 Engaging Ways to Turn Your Fans into Family, and some of the text and the emails that I'm starting to get as we continue to create traffic for EntreMusicians. But I wanted to take a break first and foremost to talk to you about the EntreMusician and his or her team, because that's vital. But before I do that, I guess you can notice that I have a little bit of hoarseness in my voice because I've been talking the last couple days almost like nonstop. And as you know, our videos are sponsored by Vocal. Vocal is the only beverage on the planet which is created to soothe, refresh, and restore your voice. And I need it. Boy, I tell you what, I'm holding the honey citrus berry. And as I talk through this video right here, this is going to help me. Absolutely. So I want to talk to you, though. I want to hone in on your team or teams. Because every project that I've worked on, production projects, live things, putting shows together, whatever has been the situation, I've never been able to be more effective without having a team for that project. But I have a foundational team, and that's primarily what I want to talk to you about today, so that as you consider the work that's in front of you and what you're trying to do, that you know that you can best get it done if you have a team. See, one thing about EntreMusicians, musicians, creative people, is the fact that we can sometimes have that Lone Ranger spirit. Like, you know, if I don't do it, it won't get done. Or if I don't do it, it won't get done the way I want it done, or the way, quote unquote, it should be done. And, you know, I mean, there may be a merit or two to some of that, but the best strategy is to make sure that you've formed around you people who know what you're trying to accomplish. And although they may not be in agreement in your methods, they are certainly in alignment and not afraid to say, no, here's a better way to think that through. So I have such a team in place, and I want to share them with you in the sense of what they do, and let you know how grateful I am for them, in the hopes that you have begun building your own team, or will, as a result of this video, think through that process and put together a great team for yourself. The first thing that I think you need is an assistant. Whether you call them an executive assistant, whether you call them a personal assistant, is absolutely up to you. I have a wonderful spirit in the person of Michaela Wright. And Lori and I, my wife and I, have been knowing Michaela since she was just a little girl, and now she's blossomed into a wonderful young woman, a beautiful young woman who also sings. In fact, Michaela sang on the Source album. She sang the title song on Source, and she also sang on Inspired. So in her formative years, I was definitely utilizing her voice in the studio. But, you know, she went to school for marketing, and she's come alongside us to help us to see things from a marketing perspective in a much greater way than I can. And she's been able to help me out in a myriad of situations, just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things that we've been involved in. Michaela has been right at the forefront. She has a gentle spirit. She has a giving heart. She's not afraid to say, no, I have a better idea, which is absolutely key, because, again, sometimes I can be too close to a thing to not be objective enough. And Michaela helps to keep me focused on, hey, I'll take care of this, you take care of that, or you don't need to be taking care of that at all. Let me cover that. And things are done far more efficiently and far more effectively. So the first thing you should consider is a personal assistant. The second thing is a business coach or a business manager. And I am blessed with one by way of one Donna Biscardi, who is absolutely excellent. In fact, she is not only helping to hone my career as an EntreMusician, but my daughter, Ayana, my youngest daughter, who is a writer. She just published her first novel. I'll tell you about that in another video. And I'm so proud of her for doing that. but Donna kind of helps to coach us both. And Donna, the one thing about her is she is an eagle eye. There has not been a contract that I've had or an agreement that I've had to look over or sign in the last 10 years that Donna has not been a part of, helping to make sure that the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, semicolons in place. I mean, she has an eagle eye. She has dialogue with my attorney and helping set up the legal structures and all of these things that needed to take place in order for me to make sure that my business is not only legal, but really running in the way that it should be. And man, I don't know where I'd be without Donna Biscardi. So you need that business person, that business mind. If you don't have it, or maybe you have a knack for business, but you definitely need someone looking over your shoulder to make sure that everything is absolutely in place. I mean, you know, we're performers, we're recording, we're in different cities. There are sometimes insurance or liability issues or other things that kind of get into the framework. And having that business person, whether it be a manager for a band, but I'm talking about, my perspective here is your office, your business, your day-to-day activities that you're involved with, having someone who is really keen on that. And even as far as bands are concerned, when you are functioning in an entity of a band, you will have that road manager, you will have that business manager, and they are coordinating with each other what's happening while you're on the road, or while you're in the studio, or while your projects are coming out, or whatever there is someone that's really close to your movement, feet, boots on the ground with you. And then there's somebody back in the office that's saying, okay, we're looking over the entire strategy, the entire plan, and this is the direction that we should be moving forward. The third person, at least in my foundational team, is an attorney. And I do have a wonderful attorney in the person of Bruce Royals, who is in Boardman, Ohio. And Bruce is really interesting because he really had a knack. He has a knack for contract law. That's not his specialty. And I want to hone in on the fact that, you know, law is very specific. So you don't necessarily want to have a criminal defense attorney, you know, on your team. Or a divorce attorney, or so, you know, I'm not downplaying those entities. What I'm saying is you want to make sure that there's someone who understands the music industry and the many agreements that you have to deal with according to our interests. So, you know, there's publishing, there's licensing music, there's management deals, there's in the day of recording labels, but there are indie labels, 360 deals. There's all kinds of little nuances that we have, even, you know, going to perform at a particular festival. There may be contracts that you need to sign. And of course, like I said before, Donna and Bruce help to make sure that we're signing the right things, that we understand what we're signing, that we can refuse certain aspects or certain paragraphs or certain sentences, even in order for A to go to B, to go to C, etc. I mean, so Bruce has been really instrumental in helping me to think through the legal aspects of what we're doing. He helped to set up our partnerships in our LLCs, which I have 4 LLCs in which, you know, handles our publishing, it handles the movement of the band, it handles the recording stuff that we do, you know. So Bruce has been very beneficial to us. And the fourth person on my team is Sterling Williams. Now, funny story about Sterling, because Sterling's came up through the ranks of his father, McCullough Williams, who was a funeral home director. And so Sterling kind of took over that business, him and his siblings. And then he went to school to become a tax accountant. And I love hearing him tell this story, because you ask him, well, Sterling, how come you are a funeral home director and a tax accountant? And you know what his answer is already, right? You know, because there's only 2 things that we have to do: pay taxes. Okay. So anyway, Sterling, he's a wonderful accountant. Sterling takes those numbers and he crunches them and he tells me how much money I did not make last year. Now, he loves to do that, but he sees where the numbers are going, and he's saying, okay, well, Jere, these are the mistakes that you are making because the numbers don't lie, or this is something that you can do better, or you would be better off not being involved in that activity at all because it's not going to garner you anything. He's an astute businessman. He's a wonderful friend, and an even greater accountant. I don't know if I said that right. He's a great friend and a wonderful accountant. But I am blessed with this team. Now, I want to tell you that, this is not a team where I have to dialogue with them on a weekly basis or call meetings together. They're just great at their specialty. And because they're on my team, they know each other. And when I need something done or we need to be involved in something, then they know their roles in helping us keep it together. So that's something I want you to consider as you're putting your own team together. Definitely, please have a personal assistant or an executive assistant, or however you hone the definition of that relationship. Please have someone who is looking over your shoulder on the business end, someone who is handling your legal stuff, and someone who is on top of your numbers, because this is going to help you. And so, your band is a team. If you are into huge publishing or licensing, that can be a separate team, but you want that foundational team together to keep your business on point. Now, the question is asked, how do you go about finding them? And it was really interesting because mine was based on relations. So I'm a person who asks. So, with Michaela, when she graduated from Kent State, it was just a matter of asking, hey, are you coming back to Youngstown? What are your plans for the future? And hey, here's what I need. And over a series of several conversations, she just became the person. Same thing with Donna Biscardi. I asked her husband, Dr. Gus Biscardi, hey, I heard that your wife has been a coach to several businesses. Here's what we're trying to do. And after several conversations, there it was. Sterling, I've been knowing pretty much all of my life. And when it came time to do our personal taxes and we started putting the business together, he was the natural consultant for, helping to get our business books on point. And with respect to Attorney Broyles, that happened through just osmosis, just a relationship that I developed with someone else. And she introduced me to him. And he said, yeah, let's come on board and make it happen. Also, I don't want to present a scenario where there's no money that changes hands. Obviously, your relationship with your entities, there will have to be some, checks that are signed. I mean, we do that. I mean, it's called business, and we make sure that that's on point. But there are other ways to barter that might be profitable for you and for those that you are dialoguing with. The important thing is making sure that you're putting a team together. Now, I want to know, what did I leave out? Is there a team member that you utilize that you think, hey, it might be beneficial for you to have this point person or that point person on your team as well? If so, just say, comment on it. Let us know. Let us create this dialogue where we're learning from each other. And that's what it's all about. Definitely go to the EntreMusician.com and download our free ebook. It's called 50 Engaging Ways to Turn Your Fans into Family. And I tell you what, it's vital and helpful. I've given away tips in the past in previous videos. I'll give you another one. Write a song with one of your fans. We did this. We had a YouTube contest. We did this about 4 or 5 years ago with a young lady named JeAnnette Singleton. And we had this piece of music that we just really thought, hey, this music is great. But, some of the lyrics we were coming up with just didn't hit it. And so, we just threw it out there on Facebook. And JeAnnette Singleton had a poem she had written about 8 years prior. And it just locked. Boom. Kent Blue Wallace sang on it. And we recorded it and released it on our Inspire CD. And so we're lifelong friends, of course, joined at the hip with JeAnnette Singleton. So that's something that you can do. There's 50 wonderful opportunities for you to be creative about. They help get you started, and we utilize them, and you can too. So you can download that at the EntreMusician.com. Thank you so much for tuning in again. My name is Jere B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. I'll see you next time.
Love is patient, love is kind.